Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University. The fields at Southern Virginia University is the location today for men's lacrosse as the Knights of Southern Virginia University get ready to host the Eagles of Mary Washington. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Seth Hansen, ready to bring you Capital Conference men's lacrosse action today. And it's going to be an interesting matchup and a big matchup in the conference as the Knights of Southern Virginia are 2-2 in the conference, 4-5 overall this season, facing a Mary Washington team just one game behind them in the conference of 1-3. Mary Washington is 4-7 on the season. Mary Washington has beaten some pretty good ball clubs, though, including a victory at Washington Lee back on March the 8th. And they are a very tough team, so you can pretty much throw out that 1-3 record. And this is a huge game today, Seth, for the Knights of Southern Virginia, who you see right there as the Knights hope to continue to get some victories to build their way into the Capital Conference tournament and also potentially get a first-round home game.
Yeah, Jim, we were talking before, and honestly, all week I've had this game scheduled, circled on my calendar. I've been really excited just because of the implications it has, as you mentioned, going forward into the tournament. It's a really exciting time to be involved with the lacrosse program here at Southern Virginia. A lot of really good things going for them. As you mentioned, this game against Mary Washington, really two evenly matched teams, I would say. As you mentioned, the 1-3 record, I'm sure they don't feel that's how good Mary Washington really is. They've played some tough games, and it should be a tough matchup for the Knights. Coach Drew Delaney, this is his first season here with Mary Washington. He comes from Elizabethtown College, where in the last two seasons he's posted a 26-9 record at Elizabethtown. So he definitely knows what he's doing. He definitely knows what it's like to play in big games. I'm sure his team will be ready. But on the flip side, Coach Lamb is the same way, has that experience. He knows what's riding on this game, and it should be a heck of a game, Jim. I'm really excited.
Yeah, the top three teams right now in the Capital Conference, the undefeated teams, are Salisbury, York, and CNU. And Mary Washington has played all three of those teams. So when you look at remaining games left on the schedule, if you're a Mary Washington fan, you're saying, you know, we've got maybe the bottom half and on down as far as the Capital Conference teams left on the schedule. So the schedule would favor them if they can pick up a win today against Southern Virginia. The Knights, they pretty much say the same thing. If they can get a win today, they've got two remaining home games on this four-game homestand, and they've got a chance to pick up a few more wins, including at the very end of the year, their game where they play at Wesley, and Wesley is 0-4 in the conference. So both teams are pretty much saying, we've really faced a lot of the tough teams like Salisbury and CNU, and both teams can claim that they've got a schedule advantage.
Yeah, and we talk about how these next three games, home games for the Knights, are a huge opportunity to make some noise, to get a good positioning in the Capital Conference tournament. And it also is a chance for this program to really take the next step, to really make a statement, to say Southern Virginia lacrosse is here. We're going to be here in the Capital Conference, and you better watch out because we're coming. I'm sure that's the message Coach Lamb hopes to send today.
Logan Lund, number 12, Eli Ayler, number 25 for Mary Washington, taking this opening draw to get the first quarter underway. And it's going to be Eagles ball. So the Knights are hoping to get a win today to take another step towards making the Capital Conference tournament and maybe taking a huge step, especially with Frostburg coming up at home on Wednesday. If they could win these two games, Seth, you would think they would almost be nearly a sure thing, not only for making the conference tournament, but potentially, clinching at least the 4th spot and getting a first-round home game.
And that's huge. That would be huge for this team. As an athlete, having played on the road, it's always easier to stay home, be comfortable in your environment, play better that way. They'd love to be able to go into that tournament with that home game to kind of give them the edge.
Of course, Frostburg is 2-1 in the conference. If you were to lose this game today and lose to Mary Washington or Frostburg and York in the upcoming two remaining home games, then you almost have to go into that Wesley game at the very end of the year needing a win to make sure you make the conference tournament if you're the Knights. Now, the Knights are starting, by the way, Carson Franklin in goal today, the freshman who's been playing much better of late. They've tried Ian Arave. They have also tried before Garrison Cook, kind of rotated at times this season, Seth, but today the freshman, Franklin, gets the call.
Franklin was definitely a bright spot in that Salisbury game we saw a week ago. I'm sure that's what Coach Lamb is playing off of right now, trying to go with the hot hand, and hopefully he keeps that up today. Coach Lamb is really counting on him to recreate that performance he had last week.
Shane McKenzie's pass for Mary Washington went awry, but Mary Washington steals it right back. And here come the Eagles on a quick break. They fire a shot and score off the turnover. That was number 27, Mike Marson. He is their leading goal scorer. That's his 24th of the season. And the Eagles jump on top 1-0. And, again, that goal really set up by the turnover by the Knights.
Yeah, it looked like the Knights had an opportunity to kind of push the attack there. They're trying to clear their zone, but that turnover really cost them. They're going to have to limit those if they want to have a chance to win this game today.
So we'll see if the Knights can win this draw and try to rebound after giving up the ball. And then Marion Washington's Marson picking up his 24th goal of the season. Knights are led in scoring by Sean Lamb, 28 goals, 43 points. Casey Rich right behind him at 24 goals. That draw won by the Eagles. Quickly there on the attack, and they score yet again. A quick shot taken by Ayer. Eli Ayer picks up his third goal of the season. You don't see too many players who are obviously the draw experts and win the draw set and then immediately come right down and score. That you see these guys who have the draw stats like Ayer for Mary Washington and Lund for Southern Virginia, but they don't have usually too many goals, and the reason why is because as soon as they win the draw, they usually get rid of the ball. But that time, Ayer took it right down and scored.
Yeah, he just saw the opportunity and made the most of it. You can see last week was that's what plagued the Knights, really struggling against Salisbury to win those faceoffs. You can't possess the ball if you don't win the faceoff, and that's kind of been their plague today as well to start early.
Unless we've had maybe some sort of equipment problem on Ayer, and let's see if they're going to count that goal or not. I don't think I've seen it where maybe the equipment hasn't come up to snuff and they don't count the goal. So they are measuring. Measuring Lamb's stick for some reason. Referee's talking it over.
Looks like they've removed the stick from the game.
They apparently do count the goal to make it 2-0. So the Eagles have two quick scores, one off a Southern Virginia turnover, the other after winning a draw. It really didn't take too long there, Seth, for the Eagles to jump on top here.
Yeah, before we could even get started, I was going to talk about how these last few games that we've done, Jim, we've really mentioned how you want to keep that time of possession. You want to keep the ball out of the other team's hands. And while that's always a staple in lacrosse, I think it's important for the Knights to come out firing and swinging today. You don't want to play back. You really want to try and punch this team in the mouth. Unfortunately, they gave up those two quick early goals, but they have time to rebound. It's still really early, but a chance to get a goal here and really put Mary Washington on their heels. That's probably what they're trying to do right now.
Tunick tried to pass to Larson. Pass was deflected, picked up instead by Brady Cook. Knights on the attack, trailing 2-0. Tunick thought about taking a shot. Now he does. Off to the left. And the Knights will still have it.
And Tunick getting involved early will be really big. A lot of teams are keying on Casey Rich, number 22, and Sean Lamb. But if you've got Tunick working his shots pretty well, that's going to just force Mary Washington to be even more on their toes on the defensive end of the field.
Brady Cook will take the shot and miss. Casey Rich able to get back there. And so the Knights still have it. They've had some good looks. Mary Washington really not challenging out front. They're kind of packing their defense in. This is Tony Good with the shot, and he misses to the left. So the Knights are getting some shots and maintaining possession. Tunick on the right side. Larson's got the middle right now. They cross over to Anthony Good, and a nice stop by the goalkeeper for Mary Washington. That was Billy Sinicola, a sophomore, making a nice stop because that was a heck of a shot that Tony Good just took.
Yeah, even from here, Jim, you could see the angle. He had a clear view of the net and of the goalie. But like you mentioned, great concentration. He made the save there.
Mary Washington's really had basically two goalies this year, and Billy Sinicola and Sam Wasson. Wasson's 3-2. Sinicola has a record of 1-4. So the Eagles with the early lead here, trying to get their third goal of the first period. That's Owen Dingman, number 32. And now it'll go over to Kieran Burns, number 6. He's looking for someone to pass to. Eagles have 2 goals in the opening minutes. Jumping on top here 2-0 in a crucial game in the Capital Conference standings.
Knights playing out on D. They're kind of doing the opposite of Mary Washington. They're up in their face, hoping to force some turnovers. Can be good as long as you are efficient and play smart. You don't want to give any open lanes to cutters going to the net.
Mary Washington in no hurry here. There was a penalty called, and that penalty is starting to tick off. So the Eagles, with the ball on offense, Seth, looking to maybe run a little clock to make sure everybody's back to full strength before they really go on the offensive attack. Not a bad strategy. So with the penalty ending, now we'll see if the Eagles go on to the attack here with a 2-0 lead. Knights draw a double team defensively on 10, Shane McKenzie. McKenzie thought about taking it himself, passes. They go left, good move inside, shot, score. And that was Mike Marson again. That's his 2nd goal of the first quarter and his 26th goal of the season. And not a good start here for the Knights. They have fallen behind 3-0 in the opening 5 minutes. Yeah,
and defensively there, it looked like Greg Gowdy kind of got out of position. The attackman from Mary Washington worked his way inside, and Gowdy just had no help in front of the net, leaving Franklin one-on-one with the attackman, and just not much you can do at that point.
Knights haven't played for a week. Their last game was last Saturday. They lost to a top-rated in the country, Salisbury, 27-7. And that's kind of unusual. Usually in lacrosse season, the teams will play a midweek game, but because the Knights have had basically the entire week off getting ready from last Saturday to Salisbury to today against Mary Washington, we'll see how that impacts the Knights, as there's a turnover by Mary Washington. They won the draw. That was Ayer winning the draw, but his pass was to the left of a teammate, and so the Knights get a break there.
Yeah, you talk about a huge break. Looked like Mary Washington was just going to pick up off that last possession. But, when you talk about that week off, and the week off always does one of two things. You either come out firing fresh and well-rested, or sometimes it takes a few minutes to get your legs under you and get back into the swing of things. Unfortunately, that's what it looks like has happened to the Knights here. But we mentioned it's still really early. There's no way too big of a hole to come out of. It's just something that they've got to start getting into their rhythm and start producing on offense.
Eagles, they're coming off a CNU loss at home, 14-9. In fact, the last 2 games out for Mary Washington have been home games against York and CNU, and they lost them both. Now, those are 2 of the 3 teams at the very top of the conference standings, but those were 2 home games that Mary Washington lost. So they're going to have to do a lot of damage here in the month of April on the road to make the Capital Conference tournament. And so far, they're doing that here in Buena Vista today with a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. Knights could really use a goal here. It's Casey Rich trying to go one-on-one. Passes across the middle. No one there. He's trying to get Larson. It was tipped, though, by Mary Washington, so it'll still be Knights' ball. You hate to say, Seth, that any one goal is crucial, but the Knights really could use one here.
And like in most sports, those first points, that first goal or whatever it is, another nice save.
Shot is blocked and saved by the goalkeeper, who's made actually a couple of saves, nice saves here in the first quarter.
It always feels like that first goal, that first point up on the board is always the toughest to get. There's always a sigh of relief once you do get it. As a nice defensive play there to force the turnover, Knights going back the other way. Oh, going back right there. Okay. They once the Knights get the goal here, I'm sure they'll feel that wave of relief and relax. It's an interesting pass there, but they got to do it. They got to find a way to find the back of the net right here.
Yeah, they need a goal, and the one thing they don't want to have is Mary Washington score another 1 or 2 goals to really jump on top here, as Casey Rich had his shot blocked, and then we saw Casey make that running into the goalie, and got a penalty flag down. And we'll see if Lamb maybe picks up a penalty or not. And that would really be further problems for the Knights. Not only would they have not gotten a goal, but they will be shorthanded. Couldn't tell if Sean went on into the goalie on his own accord or if he got pushed from behind. So the Knights trail here 3-0. Mary Washington, 3 goals in the opening quarter, 2 of them by Mike Morrison. Morrison's a senior, 6'2", 193 pounds, out of Chantilly, Virginia. So the penalty will go against Mary Washington. Good news for the Knights. They'll go back on the attack, hoping to get a goal here.
Nice
and they do.
work right there.
Tony Good with the goal.
Man, that was a great entry pass. Just kind of centered it in front there for the wide open man. It looked like Sean Lamb that converted.
Yeah.
And he's been a huge leader for the team, but that's what the Knights needed. Now you can relax a little bit and know how that feels and keep going forward and keep making a push to make a comeback right here.
And I believe Tony has his 12th goal of the season to make it 3-1. And that was a huge goal for the Knights here in the first quarter as they try to climb back into this game after falling behind 3-0. That was a heck of a pass, though, Seth, and good cut by Good towards the goal.
We've mentioned before that's such a great offensive play. The goalkeeper kind of has his back to you, so he's not sure when that pass is coming or where it's coming, and the Knights just executed it perfectly.
And once a player like Good was able to get the ball, there's just not enough time for the goalkeeper to turn around and make a stop. So Logan Lund will try to win this draw against Ayer, as the Knights have got their first goal today, make it 3-1. Knights have had a hard time here in this first quarter, Seth, winning draws.
They really have, Jim. That's, I'm sure, something Coach Lamb is going to make some type of adjustment, even if it's just kind of encouraging his guys, but something, because he knows he has to win those if they want to put some goals on the board.
Mary Washington with the turnover. Mary Washington has had a few problems. They've gotten 3 goals, but they've also made their share of mistakes here in this first quarter as the Knights try to work it upfield. Eagles really applying the pressure. Knights trying to get out of the defensive area, and they do. They station Lamb behind the goal. Mary Washington really shadowing Tony Good after that last goal by Good. Knights having scored that first goal in no particular hurry here. This is Larson on the right side. Good inside move there and a high shot picked up by Larson.
Oh.
His shot off to the right.
He had the opportunity there. It looked like there was an open net for a moment. Just took too much time to spin around, and then that shot went wide. But, I mean, good pressure by the Knights. Good attack. Looked like they had some good looks. Unfortunately, couldn't convert.
Another turnover by Mary Washington. They've had their share of turnovers here in this first quarter, but still have 3 goals on the board. The Knights trying to work it out of their defensive area. That's Matt Gowdy with it, getting it ahead. Casey Rich going through 3 defenders. He'll get it over to Sean Lamb now. And needless to say, Mary Washington well aware of Casey Rich and Sean Lamb with their defenders. Pass comes way over to Tunick on the left side. Tunick going over to the right, fires a shot, past the goal.
Tunick keeping his aggressive play going. I'm sure he's frustrated he hasn't found the net yet, but good looks, holding on to the ball and taking some good opportunity shots. Look forward to that as the game moves on.
Knights have also been dominating possession time here in the last couple of minutes. That's going to be good news as Mary Washington jumped on top really in the first 5 or 6 minutes, 3-0, but haven't scored since. Making a move to the basket is Anderson. His shot off to the right. Shot attempt there by the junior Mike Anderson. Knights still have it. Sean Lamb with it. Now Tunick will go back to Mike Anderson.
Unfortunate turnover there. Got to have those crisp, clean passes.
3.5 minutes to go. First period. Knights trail here 3-1. And the Eagles on the attack again. And they get the goal. 4-1, Mary Washington. So the Eagles get another goal, and now they are on top again by 3. 3 is their biggest margin so far. Here is where Logan Lund, number 12, really needs to win this draw because Ayer has dominated the draw so far here in this first quarter for Mary Washington's Eagles.
The Knights really, really need to find another goal before the end of this first period, keep it to a 2-goal game, and have some confidence. As you see,
boy, Ayer is just dominating on those draws right now.
He really has just been so quick on that whistle, and Logan Lund just struggling with that matchup right now. Though another turnover, the Knights have an opportunity right here.
Ayer's dominated on the draws, Seth, but some of his passes have not been too good.
Right, definitely.
Sean Lamb with it. Knights down by 3, hoping to score in the final 3 minutes of this first period. Lamb going one-on-one, looking for an opening. DeJarlis, number 17 out there. Now Brady Cook with it. Knights in no particular hurry, down by 3 here. DeJarlis almost lost it. Cook way outside looking to make a move. And Cook passes behind to Casey Rich. He tries to ground that one in, and it's knocked away by Mary Washington. Nice scoop there by Mary Washington's Will Gatens. And here come the Eagles with a 3-point lead. That's Robert Tata moving it up. And he loses the ball. Good defense by the Knights. Now we have a whistle. Kyle Smith, number 10, making the play, but it looks like this may go against the Knights. So the Knights have a penalty. And now the Eagles are ready to go in this 4-1 game. Knights would like to get a goal here in the final minute and a half, Seth, but the one thing they don't want to do is give up a goal and be down by 4.
Exactly. Yeah, this defensive possession is huge. Got to play sound defense, play physical, force a turnover or something. You don't want to give up a goal here.
Nice pass, a high shot, though. It's still Mary Washington's ball with a 1:29 to go. Eagles passing around the perimeter looking for an opening.
The Knights are...
Franklin with a nice save. The ball went into the goal.
Oh, man.
And it looked like it rolled in. There was a carom off of Franklin. He was looking to corral it before he could. It went into the goal. Lucky goal by the Eagles, and now they're on top here 5-1.
Man, talk about a bad break there. The Knights they've had a couple bounces go their way in this game, but that was a crucial one that went against them. Pushes this to a 4-goal game.
And so with 1:14 to go, now the Knights are really in a tough situation here. the way that Ayer's been winning these draws, the last thing they want to do is see Ayer win another draw, and maybe the Eagles have a chance to score in the closing seconds of the first quarter.
The switch up here, different draw man for the Knights. That's number 14, Cabin Huntsman.
And Huntsman able to battle so the ball comes away.
But they're
going to rule that it's going to be Eagles' ball. Interesting they made that change, though, going from Lund to Huntsman. And now the Knights really have to get tight defensively here. They can ill afford to fall behind by 5. And it looks like a timeout's going to be taken with 54 seconds to go. And Arave greeting Franklin, along with the other goalkeeper for the Knights, Garrison Cook, most likely just saying hang in there to the freshman.
In this game so far for Southern Virginia, the story has been Mary Washington on offense they've come out swinging, they've come out attacking, really pushing the ball, being really aggressive. Defensively, they haven't been as strong, but as you mentioned, their goalkeeper is just making a bunch of good saves for them. The Knights have had a few shots that would have been on net if it hadn't been for the goalie. So a combination of those things are why you have a 5-1 lead for Mary Washington.
Yeah, if you're looking for 3 heroes in the first quarter for the Eagles, it's got to be the goalkeeper, Billy Sinicola. Number 25, Ayer, has been winning the draws, and also number 27, Marson, who's got at least 2 goals in this first quarter, and all of them have really helped the Eagles to jump on top here by 4.
And I wouldn't, I don't think to this point Southern Virginia is, playing a bad game. It just looks like Mary Washington is just a step faster at this point. Something that, I'm sure as you watch Coach Lamb right here, he's preaching to him.
Yep.
We've got to come out. We've got to hit him hard.
And, as you mentioned, Sinicola making at least 2, maybe 3 good saves. If those go in, it's a 5-3 or 5-4 game.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so much of that goes into lacrosse. So much is on your goalkeeper. Coming up big for Mary Washington right now, but the Knights have time. Certainly lacrosse, there's, we still have a minute left in the first period. But they need to get something going. They need to pick up the tempo, the intensity, something to kind of give them the edge back here.
And again, they do not want to give up any more goals here in the final 54 seconds of the first quarter. As you mentioned, still 3 quarters to go after this, but you get to halftime and you're down by 7 or 8 goals, you got some real problems. Tough to make comebacks, especially against a team like Mary Washington. And now the Eagles go to work. And I would imagine they'll try to run as much clock here, unless they have a clear-cut opening, to try to make sure they have the last shot of the quarter. Good move outside there. Eagles almost threw it away. And it looks like it's going to be the Eagles. Nope.
Trying to scoop it up.
Knights trying to grab it. Still trying to grab it. Clock's down to 18 seconds. Knights have it.
Good pick there. Now they need to push, get a shot opportunity.
This would be great news for the Knights if they could score in the final 10 seconds. It's Lamb. Nice
spin.
Move. He lost the ball. And I don't see any penalty flags. It looks like that's going to be it for the first quarter. So the Knights had their chances there, Seth, but Mary Washington able to hang on to that 4-goal lead as we get ready for quarter number 2.
Yeah, Lamb just trying to make something happen right there, realizing the clock was running down, and just kind of got his stick batted around. But, there's some things they certainly, some things they can work on to turn this game around. A lot of time left to play in this one.
So the Knights are down here at the end of one quarter, 5-1. And what do we look for, I guess, in quarter number 2?
I don't think you can expect Mary Washington's goalkeeper to keep this up the entire game. So you got to keep getting your shots, trust the process, and on defense you've got to be in your spots. Mary Washington has taken advantage of a few missed positions on defense, so you've got to stand your ground and be in the right spot, and you should see things turn your way.
Mary Washington leading 5-1. We'll break away for these messages. Jim Bresney and Seth Hansen, welcome back to the fields at Southern Virginia University, ready for period number 2 in men's lacrosse with Mary Washington leading Southern Virginia 5-1. In other action today, women's lacrosse will be at Mary Washington at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Softball is also in action at Salisbury. Doubleheader starting at 1 o'clock. Volleyball not in action until April the 7th and April the 8th. And baseball, doubleheader today against Penn State Harrisburg in Game 1. It is the Knights leading Penn State Harrisburg 4-0 in the second inning at Rockbridge County High School. And Seth, without question, the Knights really could use a doubleheader sweep today in baseball action against Penn State Harrisburg to try to work their way back into the Capital Conference tournament standings to try to make the tournament perhaps here in another week or two.
Yeah, it's certainly not the season Coach Mann was hoping for the Knights this year, but they've got a good start today, and their certainly hope isn't gone. They just need to keep grinding away and hopefully pick up a couple wins today.
Knights are 2-8 in the conference. Harrisburg is 3-5. And right now the Knights are trailing Harrisburg, Wesley, and Mary Washington in the baseball standings for the 6th spot right now by 2 games. So the Knights really could use a doubleheader sweep. We mentioned that in women's lacrosse, the Knights are playing at Mary Washington at 1 o'clock today. Big softball doubleheader at Salisbury. Tall order. Salisbury, one of the better teams in the Capital Conference in softball. Of course, the Knights lost a doubleheader on Thursday to Wesley. 5-0 in a heartbreaker in the second game, Seth, 9-8, where Knights made a great comeback in the top of the 7th inning, but came up one short of picking up their first ever Capital Conference softball win.
And you can see the progress and the steps softball is making. I know another shot there. You see the steps and the progress that they've been making. I know that the coach over there and Coach Lamb, who's also the athletic director, is really happy with what he's seen as they go forward. And they've got a good team with a little bit of momentum coming. They've done great in out-of-conference play. So as you mentioned, still looking for that conference win, and the good chance they'll get it this year is they can just build upon that as the program builds even more.
And in women's lacrosse, right now the Knights are 0-4 in the conference, facing a Mary Washington team that is 2-2 in the conference. So the women's lacrosse team really looking for maybe a spark for their season. If they can get a win, there's a goal by Spencer Tunick. Spencer Tunick comes up with his 14th goal of the season.
That was huge by Spencer Tunick. Not only I'm sure he feels good, finally has a shot, hit the back of the net, but it looked like Mary Washington had the ball there. They were going to take it the other way, but Tunick got in there, was able to scoop it up, and just does the work on his own. A very timely and important goal for the Knights right there.
And we'll see if the Knights can try to build off that Tunick goal, and to do that, Seth, they're going to have to start winning draws here in the second period.
Yeah, that's one way you'll see if this game can turn around for the Knights is if they start winning these draws, start taking possession, because they're working the ball well when they have it. They just really have been limited with these draws especially.
And Huntsman is taking this draw again for the Knights against Ayer. Ayer's really dominated on the draws, at least in the first quarter. This draw will end up going to the Eagles. Casey Rich trying to draw the ball out of the Mary Washington player's hands, and Jack Carver, but Carver able to successfully bring it up. Gets it to a teammate on the right side. Now the Eagles go to work. See if the Knights can stop the Eagles from trying to respond to that goal by Spencer Tunick.
I think Mary Washington is feeling the intensity and the tempo the Knights have brought in this early part of the second period. Looks like they're trying to slow it down just a little bit, try to get SVU to relax if they can.
The Eagles have had a few turnovers, but they still have been able to surge to a 4-goal lead, now 3 after Tunick's goal, and that shot taken by Mary Washington, no good.
Jim, you mentioned volleyball. They don't play till next weekend. Kind of interesting. I was working out this morning in our football workout, and Joel Bergman, who's on the team, he plays football with me, but he's also on the volleyball team. We were talking about those matchups they have, and there's kind of a feeling around the volleyball program that if they can win both those games, they might have an outside shot at making the tournament this year.
Yeah, I think they've got a match on the 7th and then 2 matches on the 8th, including against Marymount. So, yeah, if they could win those 3, they'd be 23-5, I believe, and it would be hard for, I would imagine, the committee that makes the choices for postseason at-large bids to turn them away. And
the thing that hurts them, obviously, it's their inaugural season, so they're not in a conference.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's kind of the feeling the volleyball team has. They've been working real hard. They're getting up to their matches this weekend, or next weekend, excuse me, a little bit early so that they can be rested and, get that extra practice in. But, yeah, really exciting to pay attention to this coming week, what happens with the men's volleyball program.
Knights picked up their 20th win of the season on this past Tuesday, against Bluefield. So the Knights defense there stopping Mary Washington, getting the ball back, and now we'll see if the Knights offensively can pick up goal number 3 of the first half and try to make a push on Mary Washington here in men's lacrosse action, as Giroux is trying to get it out of the defensive area and up into the attack area.
You're definitely seeing more aggressive defense by Mary Washington. I think that goal of this first period really didn't sit well with Coach Drew Delaney, so he's trying to make some adjustments so that it doesn't happen again. And it's the Knights on the flip side pushing the tempo and looking for another goal here. Another nice save, though, by the goalkeeper for Mary Washington.
Yeah, good shot by Brady Cook, but Senecola with another save. And Senecola has made his share of saves, impressive saves here in this first half, and he might be the one factor that has kept the Eagles ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, Jim, you could argue he's their MVP up to this point in the game. He's really kept this game at the 3-goal lead because the Knights have certainly had their opportunities.
Eagles looking for an opening on the left side. That is Marson with it. He's got 2 goals so far today. Mike Marson, number 27. From the right side, nice save there by Franklin. Ooh. And it looks like Franklin was kind of slow to see where the ball went behind him, and as a result, Mary Washington able to maintain control with 10:13 to go till halftime. Knights trying to come up with another big defensive stop here against this Eagles offense. Mary Washington looking for their 6th goal, trying to extend the lead back to 4, which is the biggest lead they've had so far today. Nice move left side. Now Marson from behind shoots and scores, and he's got his 3rd goal today.
Now, I don't know if defense just broke down there, but as he was coming to that side of the net, there just wasn't anybody there. It looked like Casey Rich was trying to play defense, and he tried to come across the goal from the backside, but the attackman was just too strong, too quick there.
And Marson has 26 goals now for the season and 3 today. So he's got 3 of the 6 for the Eagles, and they've been able to jump that lead back to 4 as Ayer for the Eagles and Huntsman for the Knights will take this draw. So no sooner do the Knights cut the lead to 3 than Mary Washington extends it right back to 4. Huntsman trying to win this draw to try to push the Knights a little closer. Ball being kicked around. And let's see who they awarded to.
Looks like Knights ball.
Yeah, Knights will have it. Looked like Mary Washington kicked it. And now the Eagles will go back on defense, and the Knights will try to get to work and pick up goal number 3. Tunick way outside. He has a goal today so far. Nice move. Got free. Didn't take the shot. Drew a quick double team.
I think getting the ball to Tunick is really a good idea right here. He's definitely been the most aggressive and playing with the most intensity, at least in my eyes, on offense. He looks like he's feeling it pretty well, even though he only has the 1 goal, but he looks like he's due for more. If I was Coach Lamb, I'd keep trying to feed him the ball.
Looks like Mike Anderson, 28, and Jarlis, number 17, are also getting a lot of more playing time today on offense. Here's Lamb. Looking for an opening. Nice pass.
Oh, wide
and a
open.
Score as DeJarlis scores, and Lamb found the opening.
Wow, that was masterful by Sean Lamb there. He just was working that side. Really patient. He didn't rush the pass. He waited till the goalie saw him out of his corner of his eye. You saw the goalkeeper jump out towards him because you thought Lamb was going to take a shot, and he just had Kajarlis sitting in front of the net.
And that's his first goal of the season. The freshman DeJarlis getting his first goal of the season. Thank Sean Lamb for that assist, and the Knights close back to within 3 now. It's 6-3. So we'll see if the Knights could try to take advantage and put a couple of goals together. But again, it would really help if they could start winning some of these draws here. Seth, this kind of sounds like a broken record, but if you don't win the draws, it's really tough for any team to win.
Yeah, that's something in lacrosse. It's not like basketball where one team scores, the other team gets the ball. It's you have to fight for the ball every single possession. It's just such a key factor here. As the Knights unfortunately lose another one, they've got to find a way to start taking care of those draws.
And needless to say, you don't win the draws. That puts extra pressure on your defense to force a turnover. So it is 6-3. Knights within 3, but the Eagles with possession, trying to build that lead back to 4. The Knights trying to force a turnover. Eagles looking for an opening. Knights really packing in the defense. Shot taken. Franklin with the save.
That was a big stop by Franklin. Not only does it prevent a goal, but because he was able to corral it, the Knights now have the ball back in their possession.
And look at Drennan go upfield in a hurry. So now the Knights are back on offense here with a chance, I believe, really for the first time today, Seth, to try to put 2 goals back to back.
Yeah, being down 2 goals feels a lot better than 3 or 4. It'd be big here.
Lamb's shot no good. Tony Good is trying to get there first. Knights are going to have it still with 7:06 to go. Knights' biggest deficit has been 4. And Cade Rich luckily able to come up with that ball. Almost the Knights losing it, but the Knights still have it.
That was huge. That would have been awful to turn it over right there. When you've got this momentum right here, you've had some good looks. Way to keep it in there. Casey Rich doing his thing. Oh, my goodness. That looks so close.
Tony Good almost getting his second goal today. How did it not go in?
I don't know. It looked like a wide open net. Man, that was close. But you see Casey Rich with the ball, decides to just run the guy over. Good physical play. Those kind of plays stay with you. They build your confidence. And on the flip side, the defender is not going to want to stand in front of Casey Rich next time he's got the ball.
Maybe he didn't like that the fact that the guy he ran over was also wearing 22.
Yeah, I know. He takes pride in that number.
So it looks like a timeout on the field with 6:18 to go. We'll keep it right here as the Eagles are holding on to a 6-3 lead. They jumped on top early in the opening minutes of the first quarter, 3-0. And they've been able to maintain that lead. The Knights have been able to kind of stabilize things since the opening 5 minutes, Seth, of the game. But right now, they trail by 3.
And I definitely think you can see a difference in this team. Coach Lamb has them out on the field for the second period. Definitely playing with more intensity, more tempo, playing tougher physically, just as we mentioned Casey Rich there with that play, which is good. That's what you got to see, that adjustment. I would definitely say the Knights have the momentum in this period. Now it's just making the most of those opportunities that you see.
Yeah, when you look for the remaining minutes of the second period and obviously into the third quarter, it's kind of hard for anyone to see, unless you really get great defense and force a lot of turnovers, it's kind of hard to picture the Knights winning this unless they can start being more competitive in the draws.
Yeah, definitely. And I think on offense you see Sean Lamb is produced, even though it hasn't been his goals that he's scored, but when Sean Lamb has the ball behind the goalie and behind the net, good things just tend to happen for the Knights. So look forward to that going forward, as well as Tunick. He was able to find the back of the net. He's been really aggressive and playing well, having a good game. Look for him to keep looking to score.
Yeah, usually with Lamb, it's been the one-on-one moves from behind, but today, Good's got a goal, DeJarlis has a goal, Tunick's got a goal, and it's been Lamb with some nice assists today. So the Eagles on the attack here in a 6-3 ball game with Mary Washington on top. And we'll see if the Eagles get a goal to try to extend their lead back to 4. That's been their biggest lead so far this first half. Eagles looking for an opening. Knights trying to pack in the defense again. Knights trying to force the turnover. Nice pass across the middle, but quickly the defense collapsing on Shane McKenzie to prevent the shot. Pass attempt there by Mary Washington. Goes awry.
Looks like they're calling that a shot attempt. It was kind of a weird angle. It's kind of a no-look shot there, but Mary Washington retains possession.
Almost looked to me like a no-look pass.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure really what it was, but it worked out in Mary Washington's favor, at least to maintain that possession.
That's basically one-on-one coverage, packing the middle. Pass comes outside. The Eagles looking for a shot from the right side. Good fake there. Behind the back pass.
Ooh, are they calling that a shot?
Yeah, looks like another timeout's going to be taken.
That's interesting. I agree with you, Jim. I thought that looked like a pass, which I thought
Yeah,
would
in both
result.
cases, they were looked like behind the back passes. They were just trying to find somebody across the middle.
Mary Washington maintains that possession. Good to see, though. It's good to see the Knights respond. They're definitely rising to the challenge. I don't know if it took them a quarter to get their legs going after that week off, but Coach Lamb sees his game plan working. It's held up. They've definitely played better defense in this second period. They've got some things going on offense. So just like we mentioned, you got to trust the process, trust your game plan. Still plenty of time. It'd be nice to get one more goal here before the half, make it a 2-goal game. So you feel really strong going into that third period.
Hard to believe, but after today, just 4 regular season games left for the Knights, 2 at home, 2 on the road. Next Wednesday, they'll be hosting Frostburg at 5 o'clock, and then a week from today, they host York at 1 o'clock, and then close things out on the road a week from Wednesday at Virginia Wesleyan, and 2 weeks from today at Wesley. And heading into today, Salisbury was 4-0 in the conference. York and CNU both 3-0. Frostburg a game behind at 2-1. Knights were 2-2. St. Mary's 1-2. Mary Washington 1-3, and then Wesley and Marymount bringing up the rear in the Capital Conference at 0-4. So 4:54 left until halftime. Eagles on top here, 6-3. Eagles trying to get that lead back up to 4, which is as big as lead as they've had today. The Knights looking for another big defensive stop and trying for the first time today to get back-to-back goals and try to cut that lead down to 2. And a good defense there by the Knights.
Way to knock that ball away. Got scooped up by Mary Washington, though.
Eagles somehow come up with that loose ball. High shot on the spin move. This is Marson, who's got 3 goals today, number 27. He's looking for a spin move, trying to find an opening. Gets it to a teammate. Low shot, bounced around. And the Knights come away with it.
I'm not sure if that bounced off Franklin or off the post.
Yeah, it almost looked like it hit the post, but it's hard to see. The way it reverbed, though, you almost feel it almost had to hit the post.
Yeah, lucky break there as the Knights going the other way. This is a big opportunity for them.
Casey Rich.
Ooh,
and
close.
He just misses.
Another physical, strong play, though. You saw him lower his shoulder. Rich is a big frame, too. He is not a small guy. He's 6'2", 235, junior out of Buffalo, New York. Using his body to his advantage there. It's worked well both times. Unfortunately, couldn't put it on net there, but Knights maintain the possession.
Knights have a couple of players like that. I mean, Tony Good is 5'9". He's 220. Knights trying to avoid a turnover here with 3:25 to go till halftime. Trying to pick up that 4th goal. Cade Rich lost it. It's on the ground, picked up by Sean Lamb.
Oh, they said he stepped out of bounds.
And that will give the ball to Mary Washington with 3:16 to go till halftime. So the Knights had a chance there to cut it within 2. But now the Eagles will go on the attack, or attempt to, trying to get out of their defensive area. Good defense by the Knights with a double team.
Good work. Nice little trap play, kind of like what you see in basketball, able to force that turnover.
Yeah, Derek Marks with it. Marks trying to bring it up. He's trying to find a teammate to get rid of the ball, too. And the Knights wanted to play it safe and called a timeout. Even though Marks was finally able to give it away to Lamb, this gives Jason Lamb, the head coach of the Knights, a chance to talk things over, because you almost get the feeling this is one of the crucial areas of the game here. The Knights trying to get within 2.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty smart timeout by Coach Lamb, a chance to talk to his team, set up kind of the offense, kind of a play you want to run here to get the ball in the net. Because he knows, yeah, definitely, this is an opportunity to shrink that gap. We talk about how the best teams, they always make the most of these last couple minutes, these hidden minutes you find at the end of periods, where one team can really make a difference as the other sometimes tends to relax. They know halftime is coming up. So Coach Lamb definitely wants to make the most of this last 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah, when you look at the big picture, we're not just talking a goal here. We could maybe be talking about maybe 2 goals one way and two goals the other way. The Knights hoping to get a goal here and then maybe win a draw and get another goal. And who knows, maybe try to get within 1 at halftime. I'm sure Mary Washington is looking for the stop and hoping to maybe be up by 4 or 5 at halftime.
Yeah, for sure. Get the goal here, and then the name of the game is preaching to the choir. You got to win those draws, give yourself another opportunity. But playing good. They definitely have the momentum, even though the score doesn't reflect the momentum at the moment. They've definitely made their mark on this game, shown Mary Washington they're not going away, that they're coming out and they're going to keep fighting.
It'll be interesting to see York 1 week from today. We've seen Salisbury in the 27-7 game last Saturday here on this very same field. Of course, the Knights lost on the road at CNU, and York is the other undefeated team right now. They are 3-0 in the conference and 11-1 on the season. Now, sooner or later, obviously, maybe today, CNU, Salisbury, York, the top 3 teams that are all undefeated, they'll be playing each other. So we're going to start to see, I guess, perhaps starting today, some of these undefeated teams go down. Hard to believe it'll be Salisbury, but we'll see.
Yeah, and that partly, as you talk about that York game, as that shot bounces wide. You have York coming up next week. That's partly why it makes this game so big. You want to win this game. You want to beat Frostburg because you don't want to feel like you have to win that York game to make the tournament. Not that they can't beat York, but obviously one of the tougher opponents in the Capital Conference.
Unless like a Southern Virginia or Mary Washington were to pull some upsets, and actually
there we go.
Sean Lamb.
Wow.
Lamb with a bullet shot for his 29th goal of the season.
Man, what a great shot, and I love to see the emotion Sean Lamb just showed right there. He's fired up. They definitely have the momentum, and Sean knows that, as he's going to be a huge leader going forward to keep this momentum and this energy rolling. But, man, that was a dagger. That had some sauce behind it for sure as he hit that top left corner of the net.
And it didn't look like Senecola, the goalie, was ready for that shot. Didn't expect it maybe. We'd seen Lamb really throughout the first half more passing than shooting. So maybe Senecola, the goalkeeper, was expecting another pass, not a bullet shot like that.
Yeah, Lamb just doing work, doing what his team needs him to do, and a huge play. Now this draw becomes really important for the Knights.
Ayer wins another draw for Mary Washington. Now he's trying to get rid of the ball to a teammate. He does, back in the defensive area, so the Eagles will have to work it out of the defensive area. Knights hoping for a turnover. That's Tony Good hawking the Eagle. But the Eagles work it up into the attack area now. Knights really need a big defensive stop here, having gotten within 2 goals.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see this game go back to a 3-goal lead. You might see the Knights pack it in a little bit. Don't want to give any open shots, any open lanes for cutters. But probably the biggest defensive possession for them so far in this game.
What I was saying a few seconds ago is unless Mary Washington or the Knights can really pull some upsets and win the conference tournament, then you're looking at the current top 3 teams, CNU, Salisbury, Mary Washington. You're going to have, if one of those win, you're going to have one of those obviously to get in probably to the D3 tournament as an at-large team. And then perhaps maybe the third team could be the odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles getting the shot high over the
Okay.
goalkeeper. The Knights will actually have the ball with 58 seconds to work with.
That's a huge break there. Good hustle there by Franklin. It looks like that's who they awarded it to. You got 58 seconds here to see if the Knights can make the most of it.
Knights trying to work it up. Don't want to have a turnover in their own end with 45 seconds to go.
Senior Greg Gowdy, way to go to get that ball out of that defensive end. Didn't waste any time, and now the Knights are attacking.
Lamb looking for an opening. Spin move. Now he's double-teamed. Gets it over to Tunick with 30 seconds to go. Knights trying to get within him 1. Clock a factor, 22 seconds to go. Brady Cook with it outside. He makes a move towards the middle. Back over to Tunick. Tunick will take the shot, and it goes to the right. Knights still have it with 14 seconds to go.
This will be huge right here. You'll see Lamb with the ball behind the net, see if he can work his magic.
Lamb gets a pick from Cook. Passes outside the Tunick. Tunick will take the shot, and it's knocked away.
Dang.
And that'll be it. So the Knights battling, get within 2, and it's just a 2-point game at halftime. Mary Washington getting 6 goals in the first half. Knights right behind, only by 2. They got 4, so it's 6-4. Knights trailing here at halftime.
Yeah, it looked like at the end there, Tunick had a good look. From our angle, you could see he had a clear path to the net when he took that shot. But Senecola, the goalkeeper for Mary Washington, really just came up big in the final seconds there. But I think a great, successful period from the Knights, able to push it to 2 goals, along with they're bringing the momentum with them going into that second half, as long as they can come out firing. And I'm sure Coach Lamb is preaching to them right now.
If nothing else, the Knights, falling behind early 3-0. And then at times trailing in this first half by 4 at times, but able to close to within 2. So definitely headed in the right direction. Second half, though, as we've talked about, a lot of keys, and Franklin will have to continue to hold Mary Washington off the board. Knights could really, unless they really start forcing a lot of turnovers and really can rely on their defense, they're going to have to win a few draws.
Yeah, draws are becoming their biggest killer at this point. They need to figure out whatever the answer is, and I don't know. That's why, Coach Lamb is paid the big bucks to be the head coach. He'll come up with something, but that's going to be huge looking forward going into the second half.
So halftime score here is Mary Washington 6 and Southern Virginia University 4. We'll take a break here from the fields at Southern Virginia University.
I felt like I didn't just want to learn how to create art, I wanted to know what to create art about. At Southern Virginia, you're exposed to great art and ideas, getting the best of basically what the whole world has to offer. Professor Himes helps me so when I do create art, it can connect with other people. I don't want to just be a good artist, I want to be a good person who is an artist. I'm Corey Egbert and I'm a Knight.
High school, I never felt really pushed, and I kind of lost a love of learning. When you can have a whole semester of classes where every one of your professors, you can just say, like, I have an amazing professor, but for every class, I just don't think that happens everywhere else. There's true friendships that develop here. I have good friends from another college. I have good friends from high school, but I have great friends here.
My name is Bubba Eisenhower, and I'm a Knight.
Jim Bresnahan and Seth Hansen back here at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Mary Washington is on top of Southern Virginia right now in men's lacrosse action 6-4. Penn State Harrisburg has been able to rebound from a 4-0 deficit to take a 6-4 lead in baseball at Rockbridge County High School over Southern Virginia University. So the Knights got off to a good start there in baseball action, Seth, but it looks like Penn State Harrisburg has turned it around here, 6-4 in men's lacrosse action. Some of the key categories, the Knights actually out shooting Mary Washington in that first half, 24-17. But Mary Washington won 10 of 11 face-offs, including 6 for 6 in the first quarter. One of the downsides for the Eagles, though, they had 7 first quarter turnovers and 10 first half turnovers compared to just 4 turnovers for the Knights. So they're winning the draws, but the Eagles are also having problems with turnovers. The Knights actually out shooting Mary Washington in that first half, again, 24-17.
Yeah, the draws, as we mentioned, been huge. Really been a negative thing for the Knights so far, as well as Senecola, the goalie for Mary Washington, has really done his part, though they were able to get to him a little bit in that second period. But they really had the momentum coming out into halftime. And looking for the Knights to maintain that in this third period.
And they've been using Cabbing Huntsman on the draws lately since the first quarter when Logan Lund was doing them. But another one draw there for the Eagles. So they're going to start this third quarter with possession of the ball and a 2-goal lead. They had as big as a 4-goal lead in that first half. Knights were able to close down to 6-4. And the Eagles come right down. Nice save by Franklin on the ground. Battle for the loose ball. Thrown over the goal. Knights are going to have it.
Huge save there by Franklin. That would have been a terrible way to start this third period, but was able to lock it in. Even though he didn't corral it, did enough to make the save, and the Knights were able to get possession right here as they go the other way.
Franklin just able to get rid of that ball to a teammate as the Knights try to go into the attack area. That was a big save by Franklin. If the Knights give up that goal at 7-4, they're down by 3 again. Here, if they can score, they're within 1. Knights are really trying to maintain the momentum. They've been down by as much as 4. Right now, the deficit's only 2. Cade Rich way outside with the ball. Lamb, nice pass.
Oh.
And a shot just missed by Tony Good. Boy, Sean Lamb, we talked about heroes. Maybe Senecola, the goalkeeper for Mary Washington, along with Marson, who had 4 first-half goals. But Sean Lamb with his assist and then also his goal, really maybe the top Knight in that first half.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Sean Lamb got that past to Good there. He kind of weaved in and out and slung it through some traffic there. But, again, another nice save for Senecola.
Casey Rich is hoping to make a bigger impact here in the second half than he did in the first half, Seth, as well.
Yeah, Casey's been playing physical. He's had a couple opportunities, but Mary Washington's done a good job of keeping it out of his hands.
Senecola just able to save that ball and get his stick on it because Tony Good was right there ready to scoop up a loose ball or maybe tap that loose ball in because Senecola made the save on Lamb's shot, but that ball was lying on the ground for a little while. So big save by Mary Washington now. They're going to go back on the attack and take the shot and score.
Geez.
And that is Marson again. That is his 5th goal today. 5 goals for Marson, 28 now for the season. He's single-handedly offensively carrying the Eagles right now.
Yeah, that was a backbreaker for the Knights. That, they had opportunities on the offensive end, looking to make it a 1-goal game, and just like that, Mary Washington comes back down and pushes it to 3.
Marson, a senior, 6'2", 193 pounds out of Chantilly, Virginia. He has now 5 of the 7 Mary Washington goals. So the Eagles back to 3, and they easily win that draw. Ayer again coming away with it. Ayer just seems to be very quick on the draw.
Yeah, you can see him. He's a very good athlete, very quick, but he's also strong too. He's got a big frame. And he's really made the most of his chances on the draws, really just kind of taking it to the Knights there.
Knights trying to force a turnover. Eagles trying to get into their offense after winning yet another draw. Shot taken. Franklin with the save.
Good save there.
That was a huge save again. Knights trying to make sure the deficit doesn't get any bigger. They're down by 3. They've trailed by as many as 4. Had it within 2 at 6-4. Now down by 3 again, and a turnover. The Eagles come right back in a hurry. Working it over to the right side where they've got some numbers. Shot taken, missed, and Eagles still have it. Now it looks like the Eagles are going to slow it down a little bit, try to get into their offense. Knights had the momentum there early on. Got to within 2. Now the Eagles get a point-blank pass, and the shot is missed. Now we got a penalty flag. .11:10 to go, third quarter. Penalty against the Knights. Looks like it's going to go against Colin Maxfield, a defender. So now the Eagles have the advantage numbers-wise, and we'll see if that comes into play here as the Eagles try to get their 8th goal of the game. They're trying to up that advantage to 4, which is their biggest lead today. Shot taken, blocked away.
Ooh, good block there.
And the Knights turn it over.
That can't make Coach Lamb happy. Just not a very smart pass there.
Nice pass over the left, and they score again.
Oh, man.
And again, it is Marson with his 6th goal today. He has 6 of the 8 Mary Washington goals. And, Seth, as you mentioned, that was that turnover that really kind of turned things around. The Knights had stopped Mary Washington, had control, ready to try to get it out of the defensive area, and the simple turnover, suddenly the Eagles have jumped that lead back to 4 now.
We've seen most of these games that the Knights, the ones that they've struggled, they haven't been. It's not like, Mary Washington is bigger and faster, particularly better at lacrosse. The Knights have just made some silly mistakes here and there, like that one right there. I know it's agonizing for Coach Lamb because he knows what the potential of this team. Just sometimes they just haven't brought it. Like you see
wins
here.
another draw. This guy's amazing. As of halftime, the Eagles had won 10 out of 11 draws, and they've pretty much started right where they left off here in the third quarter. That's got to be, 12 out of 13 or 13 out of 14 draws won by the Eagles.
Yeah, just nothing going right for the Knights in that aspect. Haven't been able to find the answer for it.
And for the first time today, Mary Washington with a 4-goal lead, trying to build that lead up to 5, which would be their biggest lead so far today after the Knights had got it down to 2. Shot taken, and another goal by Mary Washington. This one by Shane McKenzie. That is his 10th goal of the season. And out of nowhere, a 3-goal flurry by the Eagles has turned a 6-4 game, which it was at halftime, into a 9-4 Mary Washington lead. Amazing the way this game has really turned around in the last 3 or 4 minutes. The Knights were within 2, had a chance maybe to get within 1. They had the ball in the attack area, only down by 2, Seth, and a few minutes later, now they're down by 5.
Yeah, and it was kind of like that first goal that they gave up to Mary Washington. You kind of feel the wind come out of the Knights' sails there. It was kind of an emotional blow, but the best teams, they fight through this adversity. There's plenty of time in this game still. You see that like you mentioned, 3-goal flurry there for Mary Washington. That was barely a few minutes off the clock. So the Knights, if they can get it going here, have one of those little flurries of their own, they can get back in this game. But you got to start protecting the ball and winning those draws. Somehow, some way, find a way to get those draws.
Casey Rich was trying to get it over to Tunick. Ball popped away. Lamb picks it up. Sean Lamb has really been the player today for the Knights. Has a goal, several assists. Casey Rich has had a hard time really getting involved in the offense. This is Cook with it. Pass stolen away by Mary Washington as he tried to go from right over to left to Tunick, and it was stolen away by Davis King, a defenseman. And the Eagles are quickly back on the attack, looking for some numbers. Passes into the middle. Knocked away by the Knights. Retrieved by Marson. And so Mary Washington on the attack again. Shot taken outside and knocked away. Still, Eagles will have it. I would imagine we'll see more of this in the fourth quarter. Another shot taken
goal
by an Eagle, come running in out of nowhere. Connor Healy, a junior, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Charlottesville. And he has six goal of the season. And the Eagles have exploded here in the third period for 4 goals after the Knights were within 2 at 6-4.
Yeah, just everything working for Mary Washington on offense right now. They've got some good passes going. They've got some good movement away from the ball, and basically just kind of doing whatever they want.
And this was just after the Knights had stopped Mary Washington, had the ball, only down by 2, seemingly with some momentum. Especially, going into halftime, it looked like the Knights had the momentum, Seth, and out of nowhere, Mary Washington has just kind of taken charge in this game. Still a long way to go, but the Knights, for the first time today, down by 6. Now they have possession. We'll see if they can get that goal right back. Sean Lamb over to Rich. Casey still looking for his first goal today. Rich takes the shot and scores. Casey Rich, a big goal there. That's his 25th goal of the season.
That was huge. Definitely going to need more of that as this game progresses. Rich, being one of the leaders on the team, they need him to make his impact felt. Huge goal, timely goal for the Knights.
You can see it's a little windy out there. Knights getting a big goal by Casey Rich to make it 10-5. We'll see if the Knights can build upon that. It's just been tough, though, Seth, to really build upon anything when you don't win the draws.
And you see the Mary Washington, they've replaced their, it looks like their draw man there.
Yep. Looks like they're going to go with Bobby Leatham.
It's an interesting move.
Unless Ayer got hurt, because I believe that was the first draw taken by Leatham this season.
Right, and the game isn't so far out of reach that you want to start putting in guys who don't have as much experience. So hopefully, we'd like to see a Knights, success, but you don't want to see anybody hurt. Just an interesting move by Mary Washington.
Actually, I believe that was Evan Kirchhoff, who has taken a few draws this season. Mary Washington right back on the attack, taking the shot outside, missing. Eagles still have it. 7:31 to go. Third quarter. Knights within 5. Star of the game today for Mary Washington. If you're maybe looking at one guy, it's got to be number 27, Marson. He has just been able to rack up the goals. I think he had 4 at halftime, 2 here in the third quarter, 6 total maybe now.
Yeah, definitely making his impact felt.
Knights need a big stop here after getting the Casey Rich goal. Eagles in no hurry with that 5-goal lead. Diving shot stopped by the Knights.
Interesting move there, but good save by Franklin. Not to get too jumpy, but just hold his feet and stay patient until the shot attempt. He was able to make the save.
Knights trying to avoid the turnover, get it upfield. Tunick goes around a couple of defenders. He'll try to set up the offense. Larson gets it now. Larson, nice pass.
Ooh, right in front of the net. Just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, the Eagles have it. Looked like for a second Tony Good had an opening, but then the Eagle defense swarmed all over him and took the ball away. Connor Healy for Mary Washington gets it into the attack area. Healy just picked up a goal a few minutes ago. Eagles with some nice interior passing, trying to look for an opening. I would imagine once we get into the fourth quarter, if the Eagles still have that 5-goal lead, they're going to probably start running some clock, I would imagine, in the fourth quarter. Double team by the Knights. Ball pops loose.
Good physical play by the Knights defense there.
Southern Virginia has it. Kyle Smith getting it over to Drennan.
He's got like four defenders around him, but way to work his way through, hold on to the ball.
Nice pass to Lamb, and a great
geez.
block by the Senecola, the goalkeeper. Boy, Sean Lamb had a great look at a goal that time. How Senecola was able to get either a stick or a body on that to glance that ball away, I don't know.
It's really just been Senecola's day today. He can't do anything wrong, it looks like.
Clock is starting to become a factor. Under 5 minutes to go, third period. Eagles, 5-goal lead. Knights trying to force the turnover here. Eagles trying to float somebody across. But, you know, with this 5-goal lead set, they can afford to take their time.
Yeah, Mary Washington in no hurry here. Love to take some time off the clock and just find a good shot. The Knights got to find something, got to get a turnover. You need to get another goal before this period is over.
That's Marson, number 27, with it over to the right side.
Good physical play, though.
Ball
Pops the ball
loose.
out.
Battle for it. Knights have it. Had it momentarily, at least. Marson pushing away a Knight, and I think he'll get a whistle. Let's see. No, they're going to give it to Mary Washington.
That's good physical play, though. That's what's going to force those turnovers, knock the ball out of the stick. Need to see some more of that.
That's Drennan, number 44, trying to force the turnover. Pass down low. Knights quickly with the double team. This is Marson. He goes back behind. Now spins. Look out.
Nice
great
save
by
wow.
Franklin. Loose ball picked up by the Eagles, though. Another missed shot by Mary Washington.
That was a great save by Franklin. The attackman definitely had the defense out of position, but Franklin picking up his defenders.
Pass over the middle. Score. Mary Washington gets that passing across the middle to Chris White, and he scores. Chris White with the goal, and that'll be his 7th goal of the season. And now the Eagles are on top here again by 6. That's matching their biggest lead today. Not much you can do when that pass comes across the middle and the guy's wide open. At least if you're the goalkeeper, Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin, that's kind of the life of a goalkeeper, too. You'll make a great save, and then another one will get by you. It's not a very easy position to play at all. Unfortunately, just found the back of the net.
Looks like Ayers back out there to take this draw for the Eagles, and he wins yet another one. Been amazing today the way that Ayers been able to win the draws, and he actually has a goal after one of those draws that he won. Ball pops loose.
Good hustle by Franklin.
Now the Knights trying to make sure they don't have any turnovers, trying to get it into the attack area. Down by 6. They desperately need a goal here before this third quarter ends. You know, when you look at fourth quarter deficits, manageable ones, if you can get within maybe 5 or 4, you've got a shot. If you're down by 6 or 7, it might be another matter entirely. The pass comes over to the right side. Lamb scores his 2nd goal today, and that'll be his 30th goal of the season.
Good work by Sean Lamb there. Found his crease. He didn't rush his shot, but he had a good tempo to it and found it. Found the corner of the net. Like you mentioned, you've got to find these goals. And when the Knights have had the ball on offense, they've played well. It just comes back to those faceoffs and those draws. They just haven't possessed the ball enough to really do the damage they were looking for.
Yeah, when you look at the final stats, we still got the fourth quarter to go. Unless the stats change in the way of the draws, and if Mary Washington ends up, maybe winning 85% of the draws today, you're going to wonder how the Knights actually have kept it this close. And it's, I guess, to a certain degree, based on the good Knights offense, but also the turnovers that Mary Washington's had. But
Yeah.
the Eagles have just been dominant on the draws.
They certainly have. They got the one right there.
Drennan takes the shot, and from behind he hits the
Oh.
goal. He's wondering why there's not a penalty.
Yeah, it looked pretty questionable to me. Good effort by him, though. Was able to pick up that loose
Maybe
ball and
Jason
make something
Lamb's
happen.
wondering why there wasn't a penalty. You can see Jason wondering why Drennan. He looked like he definitely got interfered with. Lamb trying to get his third goal today.
And you see those defenders are swarming towards Lamb now. They don't want him to start heating up.
Knights trailed 11-5. Knights would like to get the second goal back-to-back to try to pull back to within 4. Lamb passes over to Tunick. Now it's to Jarlis with it. Knights recognize how important it is to score here before the end of the third quarter, so they'll take their time and look for a good shot.
Yeah, 4 goals. If you can find a goal here in this final minute of this period and hold Mary Washington from scoring anymore, 4 goals is definitely doable. This period certainly has not been what Coach Lamb had hoped for, but still, if you can get to 4, you're in a position where you could still take the lead in this game in the fourth period.
The Knights have been outscored 5-2 in the third quarter. Here's Casey Rich, who has a goal today. Outside to Larson, shot high, knocked away.
Should stay Knights possession.
With 53 seconds to go. Tunick, he's got a goal today. Spencer, around a defender. Nice move. Splits 2 or 3 more defenders. Passes the ball over to the left side to Rich. Casey shoots. Ball pops loose and goes through. Over to the right side.
Looks like a penalty on Mary Washington, though. Should be advantage to the Knights.
With 36 seconds to go.
For the push, yeah.
So we'll see if the Knights can take advantage of it with 36 seconds to go.
Huge opportunity to stay in the game right here. Look for Lamb. Lamb has been huge, had his impact on the offense here. That's who I'd be running the offense through right now. Let him have the ball and work his magic, make his team play better.
They go behind to Rich. Looking for Lamb in the middle. Now here's Casey Rich taking the
There
shot.
we go.
Scoring. Rich with his second goal today. Casey's got 26 for the season. And just like that, the Knights have climbed back to within 4.
And I imagine Casey Rich's eyes got really big when he caught that one. There was only one defender. He was easily able to sidestep him and found the back of the net. Huge, big play for Casey Rich for the Knights. Keeps this game manageable and within reach going into the fourth as long as these 20 seconds go their way.
Remember, the Knights trailed at one point in this third quarter 11-5, so this little 2-goal flurry is huge, Seth, when it comes to trying to pull the Knights into a realistic deficit into the fourth quarter.
Good effort there by the Knights. Someone not able to pick it up, though, unfortunately.
Eagles have it with just 12 seconds to go. Let's see if they can score here in the final 10 seconds. Ball pops loose. Battle for the ball.
Corral it.
And
There we
Franklin
go.
gets it with 3 seconds to go. He'll just get it out of there, and that'll be it for the third quarter. So a good 2-goal flurry by the Knights. They at one point trailed 11-5, Seth, but they close out that third quarter to make it 11-7. And so this 4-goal deficit is a manageable, realistic goal for the Knights to try to overcome in the fourth period.
Yeah, that was a really up and down roller coaster period for the Knights. Obviously, that first half of it was really a struggle. They didn't come out as strong and as intense as they wanted, but able to save it at the end there, force it back to 4 goals, which, as we've mentioned, it's doable. It's certainly not an easy task. It's an uphill battle, but one that was made easier by that Casey Rich goal to finish out the period.
So the Knights are trailing here 11-7, and we'll take a little break here from the fields at Southern Virginia University.
You get out what you put in. or actually you get out probably more than you put in. But if you put in effort, you'll always be blessed for that.
These participants have never experienced mission life before, so they've never experienced working with a companion, teaching with a companion, eating with a companion.
Every kid is completely different, so each kid needs to progress in different ways, and they have different strengths and weaknesses when they come in.
Just being here, I've felt so much love from God and from everybody here.
Being with all these different youth and leaders and returned missionaries, the Spirit is definitely here.
I thought if you knew your doctrine, then you can teach a lesson. But the thing is, you need to invite the Spirit, because sometimes we don't know the things that are going on in other people's life, and the Spirit tells us those things.
As you teach about the Spirit, as you learn about the nature of the Spirit, what the Holy Ghost can do, all the different hats the Holy Ghost wears. If you come here and you want to get better and you want to improve yourself and prepare.
Ready to go here in the fourth quarter. Jim Bresnahan, Seth Hansen with you, and the Knights trailing 11-7. And starting this fourth period, Mary Washington will have the ball. So critical, I would imagine, Seth, who's going to score the first goal of this fourth quarter. If the Knights get it, they're within 3. If Eagles get it, though, suddenly the lead is back to 5.
And there's no time to waste for the Knights. They were able to get it within reach here going into the fourth, but now you don't have time to make mistakes, to come out slow. You have to come out swinging here.
Softball update. Knights Salisbury tied at 2 in the first game of a doubleheader. Women's lacrosse was in action today at Mary Washington, a 1 o'clock start. And of course, as we mentioned, Penn State Harrisburg at last report leading Southern Virginia in baseball action 6-4 at Rockbridge County High School. That was the first game of a doubleheader, too. Shot taken by Mary Washington from outside is no good. Would imagine the Eagles will wait maybe 5 or 10 minutes before they start really trying to run some clock. Right now, they're most likely looking to try to just build upon this 4-goal lead.
Yeah, the game is still close enough that they can't play relaxed on offense. The Knights are going to try and force those turnovers. But as you mentioned, as time gets down, you'll see them trying to take more and more off the clock.
That's Marson. Look out. He's the guy who's got all the goals today. And he almost was able to ground that shot in. But Franklin comes up with the ball. And the Knights will have Drennan try to bring it up himself. And he does. He's been pretty good at that throughout the day today, getting the ball from a defensive area into the attack area.
Yeah, finding that little crease in the middle of the field, using his legs, his athleticism, has been kind of an unsung hero to this point to keep the Knights in this game.
Tyler Drennan, the freshman, 6'4", 190 pounds, out of Fairmont, West Virginia. Cade Rich has it now over to Sean Lamb, who's been really stepping up his play in the second half, along with Casey Rich. This is Cook with it on the left side. This is a huge trip right now in the offensive area for the Knights, down by 4.
It really is. It'd be huge to get to within 3 goals with more than 10 minutes to go in the period. Need to convert, find some good offense here.
Casey Rich will try to go one-on-one for the shot, and he shot way over the goal. You just start getting in, especially once you get inside the 10-minute mark, you start thinking about down by 4. You're going to have to score a goal every 2 minutes, basically. Sean Lamb looks for the shot. Fires. Nice block by Senecola. Point-blank shot for Sean Lamb. And, boy, Senecola with another big save there.
Yeah, tough angle for Sean Lamb, but we've seen him make that shot before, and it looked like he had an open look, so definitely a good shot. Want to see more of those.
Here's Brady Cook with it on the left side. They may be resetting the clock, not sure. In baseball action, Penn State, Harrisburg, Southern Virginia, all tied now at 7. Does not appear to be a pitcher's duel there.
No, the ball is flying around the yard, it looks like, down at Rockbridge.
What's going on here? 12:08 to go. And Casey Rich trying to go one-on-one. Passes over to the left side, and
there
the
we
score.
Go.
Cade Rich. Cade Rich, I believe, getting, let's see, Cade with his first goal this season, and he got the assist from Casey Rich, and that was a huge goal for the Knights. Suddenly they're back to within 3 now.
Timely.
That's 3 straight goals for the Knights.
Timely goal, and you still got 12 minutes on the board, 3-goal deficit. Huge, just huge. Swings the momentum in their favor. things are looking good. Just got to keep playing sound defense and making the most on offense.
That's the first time today, I believe, Seth, where the Knights have been able to get 3 straight goals. After they fell behind 11-5, now suddenly it's 11-8.
They're going to need some more of that. You can't really afford to give up any goals, maybe one, but you got to play sound defense. Look to Franklin to really make his impact. They need a big, strong quarter from him.
Huntsman trying to win this draw. Ayer very quick, though, able to grab it. He is just lightning fast on the draw. And that has been a big factor today for Mary Washington to win these draws. And now the Eagles will try to go back on the attack here, knowing full well that if they score a goal and the lead jumps back to 4, that really puts the Knights in the hole here, as we'll be close to the 10-minute mark. And again, you'll start to see this more and more in the final 11 minutes, Seth, where Mary Washington is on the attack, but they're going to try to maybe burn a few seconds whenever they can, unless they really see a point-blank shot opening. I'm sure the Eagles, when they go on the offensive attack, Seth, wouldn't mind taking off 2 to 3 minutes whenever possible.
Yeah, definitely. And they, it looks like they've cleaned up as they got an open shot there. Nice save, though. Some of the turnover issues that Mary Washington was having in that first half, they've cleaned up a little bit here. I'm sure they'd love to get another goal to, have a little more of a cushion. But you're right, they're just going to try and run this clock and shorten this game as much as they can.
And a goal. That was a nice pass out front. And Vinny Smartaldaldo, a sophomore, able to get that goal. And let's see, that I believe is going to be his 4th goal of the season. Just a nice pass out front, and that was a goal the Knights unfortunately just could not afford to give up. Still a lot of ways to go in this game here in the 4th quarter. Over 10:51 left, but I mean the Knights now trail again by 4. It's just when you're making a comeback, Seth, you just cannot afford to give up any goals.
No, you can't trade goal for goal. It doesn't work that way when you're trying to make a comeback. Blow to the Knights, but there's still time. A little under 11 minutes. Good opportunities. Just need to make the most of them.
And that time Huntsman is able to grab it. That was a big draw won by the Knights, but Ayer comes right back with it.
Trying to flip it back, but no one was there.
Ayer actually got the shot off, blocked away by Franklin. It looked like the Knights had that ball, just could not control it, and out of nowhere, Ayer, who had lost the draw, ended up coming up with the loose ball. When you consider the amount of draws that the Eagles have won, it's really amazing the Knights are only down by 4 here.
Yeah, with how much time of possession Mary Washington has had, you'd expect a wider lead. Knights able to keep it close. Again, the Mary Washington really had turnovers, really plaguing them in the first half, but cleaned it up here.
Kind of irrelevant, I guess, but I'm sure Jason Lamb can't help but wonder, boy, if we win 50% of the draws, what's the score in this game?
Definitely, and something that, they'll work as they keep going forward in this season. You got to think he'll have that in mind when recruiting for this offseason. And, good save. Another good save.
Yeah, Larson had a nice rebound shot taken, but he couldn't score. Tunick not able to stop the Mary Washington attack. Here come the Eagles with a 4-goal lead, and they missed the shot that time. 2 good saves by the goalkeeper, Billy Sinicola, the sophomore. Well, it's been those 3 guys. Ayer on the draw, Sinicola, the goalkeeper, Marson, when it comes to the goal scoring. Those 3 guys have really fueled Mary Washington today. And for the Knights, it's been a good team effort led by Casey Rich and Sean Lamb. But now the clock is a huge factor with 9:15 left. Knights can certainly not afford to give up another goal here. Ball pops loose momentarily, but retrieved by the Eagles by Drew Carlson. So the Eagles continue to work on that clock. And now you're getting into that 2-minute time frame, Seth, where you've got to score a goal every 2 minutes. You're down by 4. Nice save there by Franklin.
Yeah, down 4. They have no, oh man, as that ball pops out, but scooped up.
Some real punishment taken out there by Derek Marks, but he was able to get it over to Drennan, who's been pretty good about moving the ball. Now he loses his stick.
Came out.
And back come the Eagles.
Nice hit by Rich there, but and they award it back to Southern Virginia.
I'll tell you, they're letting them play, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are. Been a physical game, gotten more physical as it's progressed. Trying to see what the call is here, though.
Looks like the Knights will have it with 8:17 to go. And again, we're talking about that 2-minute time frame where 8 minutes left, you're down by 4. You've got to score a goal now every 2 minutes just to tie the game. And needless to say, while you're scoring, you can't allow the opponent, Mary Washington, to score at all. So that's a big task here for the Knights. It's doable, but the Knights really need a goal here on this next trip down into the attack area as Cade Rich, who just scored his first goal of the season, moves it upfield. Sean Lamb, right side. Lamb trying to bully his way in. Over to Cade Rich. And he scores again.
There.
Cade with his second goal today. Second goal in the last couple of minutes. And it pulls the Knights back to within 3 at 12-9.
That was a really cool angle for you viewers at home. You saw as Rich got the ball, you could see the angle that he had on the goalie there, and went low. That's a tough shot to save for Senecola. And a really good decision by Sean Lamb there. He was working his way. It looked like he might try and take a shot, but gave it up to get the better shot for his teammate Rich there. Just good offense, good teamwork there. So the Knights push it to 3 with 7:45 left in the game.
Cade Rich, he'd only played in about half of the games this year for the Knights, and he's got 2 goals now.
Yeah, you can see why Coach Lamb's playing him a little more today. He's made his impact felt. Once he has the ball, he's a real threat to score. So get that.
Lamb trying to battle for
there
the ball.
There you go.
He grabs it.
Good effort.
Knights trying to get a goal to get within 2 with 7:35 to go.
Another quick goal here would be money for the Knights.
Lamb trying to spin past the defender. Works his way to the left.
Oh,
Saved
man.
somehow by Senecola. That was a big save.
Jeez, that ball just bounced and just died right there after the save. It didn't roll or do anything for the Knights.
And now the
Good
Knights will
scoop
get it
up.
right back.
Greg Gowdy, the senior, number 4, going coast to coast, finds Casey Rich.
He scores!
Oh, my goodness. Good shot. That was a deep shot, too, by Casey Rich, making his impact felt. Huge goal with 7 minutes still to go, now only down by 2.
What a run by the Knights to get within 2. Remember, at one point they were down 11-5, and they have scored 5 of the last 6 goals.
And what a great play by, we mentioned number 4, Greg Gowdy, the senior. Realizing, clock is a factor. He picks that ball up, doesn't mess with the pass, just uses his legs, and then wisely gets the ball to Casey Rich, their man who's been such a big leader for them this season. Great work by the Knights there.
See if Cabin Huntsman can win this draw against Ayer. Knights have the momentum. Ayer wins another draw.
Now you're going to see Mary Washington does want to score.
Nice drawing hit there by Casey Rich.
But
tries to swat the ball away.
You're definitely going to see Mary Washington try and take some time off this clock. Those 2 quick goals were huge for the Knights and killers for Mary Washington as you can see the panic start to set in a little bit. They don't want to let this one get away. So the Knights applying the pressure.
And so the Eagles will work the clock a little bit, but they've got to be thinking they're going to have to get another goal here to try, if nothing else, to stop this SVU momentum. The Knights have just been on fire since they trailed 11-5. See, the Eagles have kind of pulled it out a little bit. Now they'll go into their attack, looking for a shot. Nice save by Franklin.
Good save. Scoop it up. Greg Gowdy. Good work.
He'll try to get rid of the ball without losing it. Gowdy, double team, work through the double team.
Strong run by Greg there. Strong run. Ugh.
And ball out of bounds, and it's going to be Mary Washington ball. Clock a huge factor now. Under 6 minutes to go. Knights still down by 2. And here is where the one thing they cannot afford, Seth, is to give up a 13th goal.
No, not with you only have 5.5 left to play. You're running out of time. Can't give up a goal. You got to do whatever it takes to get the ball back right here.
5:25 on the clock. And do we have a timeout taken, it looks like, maybe by Mary Washington? With 5:25 to go, we'll keep it right here. The Knights, again, trailed at halftime 6-4. They actually fell behind 11-5 at one point, but have been able to come up with 5 goals compared to Mary Washington's 1 to get all the way within 2.
Yeah, and Coach Lamb's got to be happy this period has gone their way. Still fighting, though. This is still a battle, a dogfight for the Knights. But you can see it in them. They believe. They know that they can close this deficit and take the lead. But it's going to take some work, especially on the defensive end. You're going to have to force a turnover here. As you mentioned, Jim, can't afford to give up a goal at this stage in the game.
On the positive end for the Knights, Sean Lamb, Cade Rich, Casey Rich, these are some of the guys who have really stepped up their play in the second half.
Yeah, definitely been able to find the back of the net. It's huge, huge. You want as many weapons as you can on offense. So having Cade Rich being able to find the net twice now just gives Mary Washington something else they have to worry about as they try and defend for this last 5 minutes, 25 seconds.
And a lot of pressure on both goalkeepers. Carson Franklin for the Knights, Senecola for Mary Washington. Franklin knows he cannot afford to give up another goal. It wouldn't be maybe a killer, but it would be very difficult for the Knights to come from 3 behind, let's say in the last 5 minutes. So the defense really has to get tight here for the Knights.
Defense needs to play sound, and of course you're looking to Franklin. He's going to possibly have to be a hero on the defensive end, not only making the save but corralling the ball so that the Knights can take possession and get down to attack.
Eagles looking for an opening. You know, if this was like 3 minutes to go, you might try to run some clock here with a 2-goal lead, but with 5 minutes, the Eagles probably thinking they're going to need another goal here just to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. You got to always be looking to attack if you're Mary Washington.
And we'll see if they don't attack, if we get some sort of stall warning maybe. Eagles looking for an opening. Drennan with the defense there. You wonder, Seth, how much longer before we see the shot clock turned on with a stall warning?
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be up to the umpire's discretion.
So, big goal there by Jack Carver, a senior. Carver got a good shot off. That's his 13th goal of the season, and that was a goal the Knights could ill afford to surrender with just 4:19 left. You see that with the Knights defense trying to maybe get a turnover, really trying to force the action. When you do that, occasionally a guy's going to get free.
Yeah, you certainly, when you play up and out against the defense, you don't pack it in as much. You kind of open up some lanes for some shooters, and that's just what happened right there.
Now we'll see if the Knights can try to bounce back from that with just 4 minutes and 19 seconds left. And Ayer, unbelievably, he wins another draw. And now we were, instead of talking about maybe a goal every 2 minutes, now the Knights are really forced to get a goal every minute. In their 4 remaining minutes, they're going to have to get 3 goals. And needless to say, with a 3-goal lead now, I would imagine, as long as they don't get a stall warning, Mary Washington will run as much clock as possible. They'd love to get another goal, obviously, but the clock is the bigger factor for them.
Yeah, Mary Washington in the driver's seat right now, able to just kind of take their time and no rush at all.
You know, and maybe you test out the referees to see, you know, are these guys going to give you a stall warning?
Yeah, I definitely would if I were them.
Worst that would happen there, obviously, the 30 seconds goes on the clock. Shot taken by Carver, blocked away. And the Eagles still have it with 3:21 to go. Almost desperation time now for the Knights, who need 3 goals in just about 3 minutes.
Yeah, and even worse, they don't have the ball right now and trying to do anything they can to gain possession.
Marks trying to force the turnover. Are they signaling the stall warning?
That's what it looked like from here. I'm not sure, though, exactly what he was calling.
Yeah, clock hasn't gone on. The shot clock. Shot goes over the head of Franklin. Eagles still have it, 2:42 to go. Well, if the Knights end up losing this, Seth, one of the areas they're going to be looking upon as far as the stat categories would be the draws.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer would be. Obviously, Coach Lamb knows his team and he knows how to fix it. But I'm sure that'll be a main focus for him and the game plan going in to the Frostburg game this Wednesday. Which, if you do lose this game, the Frostburg game almost becomes a must-win if you really want to have a good, decent chance at the Capital Conference Tournament, or at least a good spot in the conference tournament.
Especially with York coming up next Saturday. Knights have 2 minutes to get 3 goals. And it looks like they're going to have a turnover and give it over to Mary Washington, which might just put the final nail in the coffin here for the Eagles. They've got a 3-goal lead with just about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, there's really not much left for Mary Washington to do as long as they don't turn the ball over, and even if with turnovers.
Yeah, as long as the Knights can win that last road conference game at Wesley, they should be okay for making the tournament, but that might, as you mentioned, with the Frostburg game coming up Wednesday and then York, a really tough team a week from today, the Knights are going to at least have to win one of those games, and maybe both, to finish in the top 4 to guarantee themselves a home playoff game. But I'm sure Jason Lamb's right now, he's just worried about getting victories and making the conference tournament. So 1:20 to go. Yeah, the Eagles are simply going to run the clock here unless they get a point-blank shot, which they do. Carver again. Jack Carver, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia, floating free, took a look, saw Seth that he had a good opening, and took the shot.
Yeah, sometimes you're that wide open in front of the net. It's hard to pass up on that shot. 4-goal lead with a minute 15 left, excuse me.
.112 to go. Knights now down by 4. They've got the ball. Well, even if they end up losing this one, and it looks like they're going to, Seth, there's still some positives to take away. For one thing, the Knights never gave up. They've trailed by 6 at one point, 11-5, got to within 2, just could not make the comeback all the way from a 6-goal deficit.
Yeah, it's good. You want to see your team fight. Just too much streaky play, not enough consistency across the board for the duration of the whole game. Just pockets here and there of really good effort plays, good offense, but just unfortunately haven't been able to put together a complete product today.
And it's quite conceivable these two teams might meet in the opening round of the Capital Conference Tournament. And it could be that that game could occur here, perhaps, if the Knights really close with some victories down the stretch, or Mary Washington. We mentioned that they've got a pretty easy schedule down the stretch. Maybe, who knows, maybe Mary Washington might close with a few wins. And right now the Eagles are just going to simply run the clock out. And so the Eagles get a big victory today here at the fields at Southern Virginia University, winning 14-10, and with the win, Mary Washington now 2-3 in the conference. They are 5-7 overall. Knights dropped 2-3 in the conference, 4-6 overall.
Yeah, this was a huge blow for the Knights. Coach Lamb can't be happy with the results. It was an opportunity to really get ahead and situate themselves where they want to be. It kind of just felt like it was a slow start. They just weren't ever able to recover, though they made a good push there near the end. But they got down early to those 3 goals, and it really just kind of set the tone for the rest of the game.
And it really was Mary Washington's quick start. And, of course, we saw them in the first quarter especially. They won all 6 of the draws in the first quarter. And, again, as you mentioned, Seth, Knights fell behind early, 3-0. And they played catch-up, or tried to play catch-up, basically all day long.
Yeah, you never want to be playing catch-up. You always want to be the one to strike first. And as we mentioned, they kept fighting, had some good plays in the second half. It just proved to be too little too late.
Yeah, look at the Stars. Carson Franklin had some nice saves. He was really facing a very tough Mary Washington offense today, especially in the second half. Casey Rich with a couple of goals. Lamb had a tremendous day all day long with assists in the first half, a couple of goals in the second half, and Cade Rich also came up with a couple of goals. So the Knights really had their heroes today, but if you want to pick out three heroes, obviously for Mary Washington, it would be Sinicola, the goalie, had some big stops. Marson had some nice goals. He, I think last I saw, had 6 or 7 goals today. And Ayer, number 25, just amazing his stats when it comes to winning draws today for Mary Washington.
Yeah, and if out of those three, I'd probably say Ayer was the MVP. As good as Sinicola played in the net, Ayer just dominating those draws, which just limits the Knights so much on offense. You can't ever really get into a rhythm as well as opportunities.
And, looking at the stats going into today, he had been successful on more than half of his draws, but not an overwhelming percentage. I think it was around 55%. I don't think it was over 60%, so he had been winning more of his draws than losing them this season, but it wasn't an overwhelming percentage, and today it was an overwhelming percentage.
Yeah, that's, as we mentioned, something that Coach Lamb, he's going to be looking to rectify going forward in the season. If they want to have any chance of getting a decent seed and making some noise in the conference tournament, you have to start winning those draws.
So again, a big win today for Mary Washington. Again, they're now 2-3 in the conference. The Knights dropped to 2-3 in the conference, and Southern Virginia with the loss dropping to 4-6 on the season. And now, Seth, they get ready for another big home match coming up against Frostburg Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We'll have that one for you, followed by the York match next Saturday at 1 o'clock here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. So the Knights have 2 home games remaining on the schedule. Wednesday, 5 o'clock against Frostburg, next Saturday against York. And the Knights really could use at least one of those 2 games being a Southern Virginia University victory.
Yeah, there's nothing really you can do other than just move forward. You can't dwell on what happened today. You just got to learn from it, move forward, realize you still have a huge game coming up this Wednesday. You got to bring everything you've got because everything really feels like a must-win on the rest of the way out if you want to have a good position for yourself.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Final score again, it was the Knights falling to Mary Washington. Mary Washington wins this men's lacrosse matchup today by a final of 14-10. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Seth Hansen, Josh Adams, and all of our excellent production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Southern Virginia University men's lacrosse.